Welcome everybody to uSTADIUM uFantasy Live. I'm Chris. That's Stefan. How's it going, Bersh?
Honestly, heartbroken.
Oh,
I witnessed my first ever loss by .1 thanks to Emmanuel Sanders' last
oh,
catch last night.
oh
It,
man.
it's yeah, so
Point one
it's
is a stinger, buddy. Doesn't get no tighter than that, man.
oh yeah, it was rough, but hopefully to bounce back next week, see how it is, get some of these waiver wire guys in, and hopefully get back on track.
On to Cincinnati, right?
Exactly, love it.
Right on, man. Yeah, it was a good week. I think I went 65% overall. The play of Derrick Henry sure did help. The 3 tutties. He's got 10 touchdowns through 5 weeks already. He's lighting it up. He's got the extra game. Do you think he breaks the record this year?
No running back has gone over 100 yards in over 5 game span. This man had another 130-yard game.
Yeah, he did.
Who's stopping him? Buffalo's defense
Yeah.
was good. Who's stopping this man? This is the king. This is the best running back, pure rusher. When it comes to like Earl Campbell, this is the guy. He is the king. And I think if anything, he has my bold prediction will be 2,500 yards and 20 touchdowns by the end of the season. We're not even halfway through, and he has 10. Hey man, 2,500 yards, one extra game, 20 touch. It's gonna be good for fantasy owners, that's for sure.
Yeah, I like it. What's up, Hoops? Thanks for joining. Yeah, Rick Henry. He's a stud, man. He's next year's right now RB1, right? Like never mind McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Saquon Barkley, all these guys getting injured, and this guy just keeps on trucking, man. Tractorcito just keeps on rolling. And like you said, who is gonna stop him?
I haven't seen anyone yet. Buffalo has a good defense. They got work. Micah Hyde saw what was a truck stick up the middle. You can't do anything about that, man. He's a dangerous
75-yard TD was
at 22 miles an hour, but just about 22 miles an hour. That like what? And imagine getting hit. That it's like bricks, just a ton of bricks coming at you.
He's a big boy, man. And once he gets rolling downhill, there ain't no stopping that guy. I'm happy I own him in a few leagues. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I got him, I think, in our uSTADIUM league. I got him at the 5th or 4th pick, so I was happy with that. I almost came back and beat Higby, but I just couldn't do it on the back of Derrick Henry last night. Good game, though, man. Good game.
I was able to get back on track myself, actually, thanks to Lamar Jackson's antics lately. As of late, he's been winning me pretty much games. You know, Elliott and Mixon are starting to step up. So I'm 3-3 in the uSTADIUM league. Hopefully, I can get on a little run, maybe knock a few wins before anything, get in the playoffs. And I want that rematch against you. I almost had you, but
you never had your car. But it's week 7. We're gonna give you some of our must adds. We're gonna kind of like buck the trend on some of the other waiver ads. We're gonna give you some guys that you may not be looking at that you're gonna want to add either in deeper leagues or as a flyer, because week 7 it's I think 6 teams are on bye this week. So
I might get in.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough to fill those holes. So hopefully these guys can do that for you in the games that they are playing. For Sunday, we had some guys put up some big numbers. The tight end one was Noah Fant. The wide receiver one on the week was CeeDee Lamb. Obviously, the RB1 was Derrick Henry. One of the surprises for me, and moving forward, a guy that I'm going to be looking to buy is Leonard Fournette, man.
He's the proven RB. I mean, I didn't believe it coming in the season. I passed up on him on a lot of drafts. People took the chance on him in the last 3 games. He's been nothing but, you know, what he was back in the Jacksonville Jags his rookie year. I mean, Tom Brady has his 1,000-yard back. It seems Rojo's phased out. I mean, you got to start firing Lenny up in your RB2 spot. It's a weird year. These names aren't, you know, the sexiest of names. You got the Khalil Herberts. We got Leonard Fournette. No more Rojo. No more. So you got to start playing them because, believe it or not, these guys are going to win you your leagues going forward. And look at that in the first half of Thursday. That's what you want just in the whole game.
Yeah, Thursday
So
Lenny, primetime Lenny, regular season Lenny. He's definitely taken over the role in that backfield for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
It's personally nice to see it because last year they struggled on who had the identity of the running back. So now to see one guy, a little bit of mixing of Giovanni Bernard.
Yeah, the bell cow. I like it.
Oh man, yeah, it's a good time in Tampa. You know, the Rays lost, so we gotta have to have something. Hockey's back, so we'll see how that goes. But
yeah, hockey is
Bucks.
back. Hockey is back. Living in Toronto, we don't hear the end of hockey. That's for sure, man. But it was a good week. A lot of good games. There he is again. Total yards on offense. Leonard Fournette 123. The Philadelphia Eagles 77. 77. I read a stat on Jalen Hurts actually that he was 6 for 19 from passing completed passes beyond the line of scrimmage. So that is not very good. That's about 31% of completions that he's making beyond the line of scrimmage. So running the ball, he's great fantasy quarterback. We talked about it with Luke Sawhook, who joined us on Sunday. Go follow him on Twitter at Luke Sawhook. He was a great guest of ours. We almost got to see him eat the blazing wing. The Seattle Seahawks came close to beating the Steelers, but just couldn't get it done. It was a game that I was definitely following closely just for that aspect of it.
I was really excited to see that. And I thought, Geno Smith was going to pull it off. I'm like, all right, bet we're going to see someone, But nope. It's like I didn't have a single win this weekend where I wanted it. I wanted to win my league. I lost by 0.1. I wanted to see him eat the blazing wings. The Seahawks won. I had a big parlay in, and then I got, it was just rough last few days. So I was hoping maybe to see him eat those wings and just have some kind of like light, some silver lining in
joy.
Something.
Watching someone else go through some pain will bring us some kind of joy.
Right. I know.
What has the internet done to us, man?
I'll come back with you on that one.
Yeah. But let's talk some fantasy football, Stefan. We're going to get into some of our must-adds, some of the guys that we're looking to add through week 7, the bye-mageddon, as you called it, 6 teams on bye. But we'll get to some questions here first. Matthew Seaver, Gibson and Sutton. We got a trade question. Gibson and Sutton for Jonathan Taylor, full PPR, good trade. I would say no if Gibson was healthy, but the guy probably I'd be getting Taylor. If it's his hard roster with Gibson's injury, yeah.
And what's your roster looking like?
Yeah, without any true context. I mean, I wouldn't make the trade right now. It's just hard to sit on the trade like that with Gibson up in the air. And Sutton had double-digit targets this weekend, man. He balled out. He had over 100 yards. I think he had a touchdown as well. So he had a great week for fantasy owners, and Gibson did not. It was unfortunate, but he is dealing with that shin injury that's been pretty nagging. So we're going to talk about J.D. McKissick when we talk about the ads. Anuna just traded Waller and Justin Tucker and Zach Moss for Kamara. I have Pitts at tight end. Thoughts?
Gave up a little too much value on that one.
Tucker, you think so? I mean, Tucker's kicker one, right?
Yeah, I mean, outside of Tucker being, a 10-point walking person, it's really the Waller and Zach Moss. I mean, Kamara's good. You have Pitts as tight end. In reality, you can honestly flex Waller. I know he's had a few down weeks. You can flex him as like a receiver 3 if he gets those numbers. I just personally think giving up for Kamara is just a 3-for-1. It gives the other guy depth. It gives you maybe a better team now, but personally, I would have stayed away from that one. Maybe get an extra player, if anything, from that trade.
Yeah, I don't hate it too much. I don't like anything anyone running the ball for the Buffalo Bills. Singletary, although he did look good at some times on Monday, they're not putting up solid fantasy numbers. Kamara's had his bye. You're going to plug him in. You're going to put him in your RB1 spot, and you're not going to have to worry about him for the rest of the way. So I don't hate it, but you got Pitts there to cover Waller. So, yeah, it's not too bad of a trade. Hoops himself, Najee for Carr, Henderson and Emmanuel Sanders. I get Najee, and he doesn't have a QB. You like that? I mean, I liked Hendo's day, man. Hendo had a great day.
I even said it on Sunday. He's had a quiet, RB2 season without under the radar. I personally wouldn't have done that. Like I said, I'm not trying to hate in the trades. It just seems like giving all that value. Derek Carr, Henderson, Emmanuel Sanders. I mean, Najee is good. He's on his bye week, so that kind of helps you because it's always Emmanuel Sanders. I personally would sit there and just keep what you have. Again, if you have more context on your other team, like your deeper roster, I'd see it. But I would keep Henderson. Like I said, him and Sanders. Sanders is taking over that Cole Beasley spot. I know they all ate last night. The entire offense was feeding. I just personally think it's Stefan Diggs, and then it's going to be Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley going forward. So you'll get more out of him later on. And you never know. Najee is being worked a lot. So you don't know if that's going to maybe play a role later in the season, or he's just going to be kicking it like Derrick Henry is, taking every snap, carry, and just running with it.
Yeah, I mean, Sanders might get an uptick in targets too with Dawson Knox going out with the fractured hand. So he might see a little bit more volume there. All right, awesome. Let's get to our must-adds, Stefan. We're going to bring in the 5 that we got ready to roll. Some bigger names, some not so big names. So let's bring it in. All right, AJ Green had another big day. Ricky Seals-Jones, we called it on Sunday, but let's talk about AJ Green, Stefan. With the Arizona Cardinals offense, you're gonna want a bunch of pieces out of that offense. I mean, they're putting up points. You could even switch AJ Green with Christian Kirk. I think they're pretty much same own percentage. They're putting up numbers. The only thing that I like AJ Green more over Christian Kirk is that he's seen a steady dose of targets, man. He's constantly seen at least 6 targets per game. He's catching 5 balls per game. He's got he's owned low percentage in Yahoo. We're saying to spend about 15% of your fab on him, but when you break it down, he's put up 13.4, 16.2, 17.7 PPR points. He's only had really the 2 bad games, and then week 6 he finished as a top 12 wide receiver, man. So he's definitely a guy that you can put in to cover your buys like week 7. For you, are you picking AJ Green or are you picking Christian Kirk?
I mean, the whole week I've been going back and forth. Monday I'm looking. I'm like trying to find a trend because, like you said, AJ Green is having a healthier dosage this year. It just seems Christian Kirk has got like that opposite where it's like, okay, he had 18 points this week. He's going to have 6 points next week. And then Rondell Moore is going to have like a 15 to 18 point game. They are interchangeable, but I do agree with you that AJ Green's been the guy with consistent targets. He's had 5 catches almost a game. This looks like AJ Green, not from his Cincinnati days, but this is like a healthy dosage of him. It helps take off the workload from DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk being there, that entire offense. And now they're getting Zach Ertz in there. So like you got to look at that offense, and does that take away from AJ Green? If anything, I think it opens up his receivers more. And he's been consistent enough to trust, take Kyler Murray and be, hey, listen, you can throw me a deep ball and I'll catch it just as good as DeAndre Hopkins can. He's old, but he still has those hands. Yep. I'm okay with spending, $7, maybe upwards of $10. I had AJ Green 2 weeks ago. I dropped him because he had that one bad game. I picked up someone else. It's just one of those guys that, he's not going to have like, say, 20 points every game, but he's going to be a guy that's a good flex on these bye weeks, especially this week. These names aren't like how last week we had Booker, Darrell Williams, we had Herbert. These are ones that are like you plug in for this week. That's why you're not spending everything for them because you're like plug and play. J.D. McKissick could be interesting too because of the injury, but AJ Green's a great receiver to have as your flex for just this week for a bye week and just stash him. You never know what's going to happen in that offense.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be a small window of opportunity to add a guy like AJ Green that sees constant 3+ targets. He's 3+ receptions a game. He's catching TDs every other game. He's got 3 on the season already. So time is going to run out to add guys like this. So he's going to be a guy that you're going to want to put on your lineup in any format. Stash him on your bench when you don't need him. Plug him in to cover the holes for your buys, especially like this week where it's going to be tight, man. Let's talk a guy that we talked about on Sunday. We talked about him being a start. He's seeing a lot of activity in that Washington football team passing game. It's tight end Ricky Seals-Jones. He's owned in 30% of Yahoo leagues. We're saying to spend about at least a minimum of 15% fab. I predicted that he would score 2 TDs. He got 1 TD.
As soon as I saw him score, I'm like, this guy Chris just hit this one on the head. And even if he didn't score the second one, he put up great numbers for a tight end, especially the wasteland that it is. So that was a great call by you in that one. And I actually added him in a few leagues thanks to you, so he did help me out. So I do appreciate a little insight on that one.
Stuff. Yeah. I mean, he's seen 15 targets over the last 2 games. He found the end zone. As long as Thomas is out, he's going to be one of the main targets in that Washington football team. Like I said, in that passing game, you can play him knowing the targets will be there. Terry McLaurin's there, but the rest of the receivers are hurt, man. De'Ami Brown's hurt. Like we said, Curtis Samuel's hurt, and he's available in 70% of Yahoo leagues. He's gonna be a good start for you. He's gonna be a good streamer for you. He saw 100% of the snap share last game. So again, go out and add this guy, because the opportunities to add this guy they're not going to be there. Like, they're not going to be there for so long. So you're going to want to put him in, right?
I 100% agree with you. And he's got the body size to be just like Logan Thomas is. He's a big bodied, big frame tight end. He go up and get it. And he's got the speed. That wasn't like a dink and duck touchdown. That was he beat a lot of players to get to the end zone for that last grab. And I was like, damn, this guy he's quick. He's older. He's not like, he's not a new tight end, but like, he's just getting it done. He's just like Logan Thomas was a tight end, quarterback converted to a tight end. And Washington makes it work. The injuries are stacking up. They don't have a receiver 2. They barely have a tight end. Ricky Seals-Jones walks into a good position for himself. And hey, you know what? Look at him now. He's that guy. He's the guy that they want to go to, and he could be your tight end 1 for going forward. Even if, say, Logan Thomas comes back, if he carves a rollout big enough to establish himself, why not keep him?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, like you said, even when Thomas comes back, he might be a guy that's going to soak up those targets. Let's move on here. A guy that's going under the radar, Jamal Agnew, wide receiver of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We talked about him a little. We had a question about him, adding him in a league that has kick return yards. So, and then he balled out, man. He balled out when he had the opportunity in Jacksonville this past week. I think he caught something like
5 catches,
40-something yards.
I think it was like 48 yards, 5 for 48. I mean, he's an all-purpose guy. I mean, we had that question where return yards, if they mean a thing to you in your league, this guy is going to be a good guy. I mean, I don't know what his rapport is with Trevor Lawrence right now. He just, like I said, had one of his highest snap shares, like reception-wise of the game as well. Is he the guy? I don't know. I mean, Marvin Jones kind of was, I think, looked a little injured at the end of the game. I don't know. I mean, if you have a league where return yards mean something, if you have, Jacksonville's defense, like we were saying, he's worth start. He's worth some kind of flex. So he had
6 for 5, 78.
That's actually a really good game. Actually, wow.
He's at 11 catches, 13 targets over the past 2 games, man. He is a deeper league ad. He is going to be a guy that if your waiver roster is a little light, you can add this guy and put him in, and the production's going to be there, right? So Jamal Agnew is a name that's going to become a household name within the next couple of weeks, especially with all these buys. Noah asks, I traded Marvin Jones, Rashad Bateman, and Gallup for Julio. I don't have a lot of wide receiver depth now. Is there a deep sleeper wide receiver I can add? Yeah, Jamal Agnew, man. He's deep sleeper wide receiver that you can add. Again, the targets are there. The connection with Trevor Lawrence is there. He's a speedy guy. He's on the kick returning, the punt return. So there's opportunity for touchdowns there. If you're in the league that scores with the kick return or punt return yards, then then there's a bonus there because he had 55 return yards this past week as well. So he had over 100 all-purpose yards if your league adds those things in. So Jamal Agnew is a definite owned 0% in Yahoo leagues. We're saying to spend about 5 to 10% of your fab. So no one's got him in Yahoo. So he's definitely going to be there for you. I wouldn't spend too much right now, but he's a guy that you can go in and grab for cheap and get him for some good value.
Also, if you're looking for someone else that you're trying to clear off waivers after the fab priority goes through, I have 2 sleepers. Quez Watkins took over the receiver 2 over Jalen Reagor this last week. And also, if you could snag a Nelson Aguilar, I feel like going later into the season, he might get utilized more. So if you're desperate on receiver, Quez Watkins and Nelson Aguilar could be good guys that you can put in there. And they're those guys that are kind of almost boomer bust. I mean, more of Aguilar is really more of the boomer bust kind of a guy. So if they're still there, snag them for free. Let people pay their money for the guys they want. And you never know. You never know what he could do. He had a drop touchdown this last week that could have went up the middle. He could have had himself a 15, 20-point game. So I don't know. I mean, if you have Julio, no, he just got hurt. It's a day-to-day kind of a thing. Go take a dart on those 2 guys, see how they work. Noah, let me know if you do it, and then hopefully he does you well.
Saying Julio's hurt again?
He had the hamstring injury. They're saying it's a day-by-day thing, So
Jeez, man.
Same, different team, same Julio. So I don't know what to do with it, man. It's getting to that
tough,
point.
Man. It's tough. But for sleepers, Nelson Aguilar, Jamal Agnew, Quez Watkins, Marquez Callaway could be a guy that you're going to add. That's a low percentage owned. Rondale Moore, but Rondale Moore's kind of he can take a back seat some games, but definitely a great schedule moving forward. Other than that, there's just pay attention to situations and stuff like that. And someone will stick out to you that you're going to, even Michael Gallup, if Michael Gallup's on your waivers, go pick a guy like that up where he's going to come back into Dallas and instantly be that wide receiver 3 on that team. Exactly. And that's a guy that you want a piece of too, right? So number 4 on our list, it's unfortunate. He's on the list mainly because of injury. Antonio Gibson's shin. He was ineffective on the week. He was in and out of the game. McKissick posted 110 total yards. He had 16 touches. 8 of those were catches against the Chiefs. A big part of that came during garbage time, but for fantasy football, garbage time is money time. That's when you really you go find some of those guys on those bad teams and you pluck them up because you know that there's great opportunity for those guys
to
become valuable. Yeah, like a DeAndre Swift, right? Doesn't get used too much early in the game, but come garbage time, man,
he got you 20 points.
That's where he makes the money, man. Yeah, exactly. That's where he makes the money. So he's a must-add handcuff at the least, but he does have standalone value in PPR leagues. Again, especially during the bye weeks, he can be a guy. Even if Gibson's playing, he can be a guy that fills a hole for you. But if Gibson misses any time, McKissick can be an RB2 for you, right? Next week 100%. He faces Green Bay. Green Bay's not that great versus the run. So the opportunity for McKissick to eat is going to be there. Are you adding JD McKissick where you can get him this week?
If I'm not, I don't know what I'm doing myself. Like, I don't know what's worse. Is it the injuries that are happening this year, or is it the amount of like waiver pickups that I'm not sure of sometimes? That I'm like, Khalil Herbert a few weeks ago, I'm not going to hold him. Ends up being a baller. Devontae Booker, I'm not going to hold him. Ends up being a starter. JD McKissick is that guy. Like, if I had it, if I'm Antonio Gibson owner, I would have had him because I knew this going into the season that Gibson was going to be kind of an injury kind of a guy. But JD McKissick is just like, you don't know when he's going to do it, if he's going to stay healthy. But, hey, this is it. This is his time to shine. You spend 20% of your fab on this guy, he's going to win you some games. This injury could be a 1 week to 3 week injury easily. He could be nursing it, not fully out. And JD McKissick for 3 weeks from what you spent on him could be worth 3 wins, 2 wins. You go 2-1 with that span of having McKissick in there, and you're like, wow, this guy I got the value out of the player I wanted to, and now I'm in a better position with my team. If you come back from injuries, bye week, get this guy on your roster and at least flex him at worst.
Yep, exactly. And these fat percentages here that we're giving you guys, it's just a guideline. Try to take a look at some of your league mates' rosters. Maybe the guy with Antonio Gibson needs the running back help, so he's going to go out and spend a bit more of his fab dollars to acquire these guys. If you want any of these guys, don't be afraid to spend a little over your budget. I spent foolishly. I spent a lot on Elijah Mitchell when he had that good game, and then he's done absolutely nothing since. But you got to gamble. Sometimes you got to gamble, man. And
you got to take that risk. You got to be
exactly.
It's like every week you have a decision. I was given a decision for Elijah Mitchell a few weeks ago. Someone bid $50 on him. I'm like, you know what? I personally cannot see myself spending that. The next week there was a Cordero Patterson week. I spent $38 on my fab. I got Cordero Patterson. Look at him now. Last week it was Darrell Williams and Devontae Booker. Darrell Williams, stud, worth every penny of your week. Now this week it's not the sexiest thing, but if Gibson's out, McKissick will be the best $20 you spend on a running back all season. If you have that much money on.
Fortune favors the bold, so don't be afraid to be bold, especially in fantasy football.
Exactly.
The last one here, we talked about the fifth guy. We rotated some guys in. We weren't sure who to add, but since the Cleveland Browns are on the short week, Kareem Hunt to the IR. We're not sure what's going on with Nick Chubb.
He's actually ruled out for Thursday.
Has he been ruled out officially?
Yeah, ruled out officially. So, it's precaution, but they're down two of their stud running backs, and they brought in John Kelly from the Rams as a backup to Ernest Johnson and to
Demetric Felton.
Demetric Felton, yeah.
Yep. So we had to put a Browns running back on here because they are a run first team, and personally I think it's Ernest Johnson that's going to have the better game out of the other ones. Again, he's a waiver ad because the other two guys are injured. Chubb didn't play last week. Kareem Hunt exited. They're playing short week. He's going to find himself as a primary or secondary role in that backfield. He'll have value, like we said. The Browns are run heavy offense. He didn't do too much last week, but that was maybe part of the game script that was going against him. But when those running backs have been out before, and we've seen Ernest Johnson step into the starting role, he has shown some flashes of good production. He has put out. He can be Cleveland's top RB when it's all said and done, at least for the end of this week. And he's going to do it against the Broncos. So we're okay picking up Ernest Johnson. We're saying spend 5% because it might just be a short-term option. Chubb was not placed on the IR, so he does have the opportunity to come back next week. So you don't want to spend too much of your money on getting a short-term rental like Ernest Johnson, but go out there and add him where you can get him and put him into the lineup, because right now he's the starting running back for the.
That's all they've got.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
It's a short week, so it's not pretty. I mean, I personally expect him to get 10, 12 carries, split it with, Felton. Felton's more the receiving back. He's more like the Kareem Hunt out of the two. And yeah, like you said, it's a short-term rental. If they were going to put Nick Chubb on, he's already missed 2 games. If they wanted to put him in the IR, they would have. Yeah. So it seems like he'll be back for that third game. Like there was no reason for him to miss the third game. But it's not going to be pretty. I mean, it's not like I said, he's not going to get you 25, 30 points. But if you need a flex, you need someone to replace you. If you had Hunt, you have Chubb, you have those bye weeks. Spend, let's say 5% of your fab. Get yourself a 1-week rental. And then if you have to, just stash him. And if Chubb is not coming back healthy enough, you kind of have yourself a deeper or like a more of a value at that point because you spent little to get him, and now he's worth more, and he's giving you maybe 2 weeks now instead of 1 week. So every time he's playing extra with you, you're like, okay, I got more money, more bang for my buck at that point.
Yeah, and Baker's got a bum shoulder too, right? He hurt his shoulder again. They're saying that they might do surgery. They don't want to do surgery. They're gonna try to finish the year. So I doubt they're gonna be airing the ball out 30 times in the game. So they're gonna be looking to hand it off a bunch. Ernest Johnson should be the number one guy you get in the backfield, then Demetric Felton. and I probably wouldn't. We're not considering John Kelly, right?
No.
No.
But I swear to God, if he does something,
yeah, you probably will. You probably will. Those
like
are our top. Yeah,
it's like ahead. Noah Fant last week. I was like, oh, you one guy I don't ever trust Noah Fant. What does he do this week?
He finishes as the tight end one.
Exactly.
He's got that ability though, right? He's got the ability, especially in that offense, man. Teddy Bridgewater is one of my streamers on the week. He's been showing flashes of being aggressive. He's not checking down the ball as much. He's not just game managing. He's being aggressive with the ball. He's slinging it out there. I like what I've been seeing from that Broncos offense. So let's talk streamers that I'm bringing up Teddy Bridgewater. Bridgewater versus the Browns, to me, is a streamer. Another quarterback that I'm streaming this week is Tua Tagovailoa versus the Atlanta Falcons. Are there any QBs that you got in your back pocket that you're comfortable streaming that no one else maybe is thinking about, maybe not?
It's Ramondre Stevenson and the injury-prone man of glass. I hope he proves me wrong. Rashad Penny. That backfield in Seattle is like iffy. Alex Collins is like, I don't know. I don't trust them. Chris Carson's got the neck injury. Rashad Penny's been just sitting there ready for his moment. And he had that one spur. I think he had one game where he had – I can't remember what game it was. It was in Seattle. The starter was out. He just balled. And then he gets hurt. And it's like, oh, everyone's spending their fab on this guy. And the next thing you know, he's hurt again on the IR. And you're like, I just spent 25 hours on this guy to do nothing. So – Rashad Penny is one of my guys. Caution. I'm saying caution. Like, get your caution tape out, wrap him up around it because it's dangerous.
No doubt. The thing with me with Seattle is because Geno Smith is throwing the ball, there's no real threat of a passing game that teams are just gonna focus on the run. So, but I don't hate it because the running game in Seattle is kind of in flux. So, yeah, I like the streaming of Rashad Penny.
Also, Matt Ryan. I know I said him last week near the bye week, but Matt Ryan's got his weapons back. He's got little matchups going forward. And streamer, I know we had a question that the guy had no quarterback that you're trading. If he's looking for the waiver wire pickup, there are a lot of ugly names that are doing very good. So take that chance, throw that dart. See what sticks, what doesn't stick.
Yeah, exactly. A couple other streamers. Anthony Firsker versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been atrocious versus the tight ends. We saw it versus Washington. Ricky Seals-Jones got a touchdown. He had a decent day, quite a few targets. So Anthony Firsker might be a guy that you're going to want to, if you're looking for a streaming tight end, pick him up, as well as CJ Uzomah. Baltimore has also been not too good versus the tight end position. So CJ Uzomah, I think he's got a touchdown in 2 or 3 games, right? Yeah. So he's a pickup as well as
sprinkle of them.
Yeah, exactly. Ryan Hayes, Swift and Thielen for Eckler. I'm good at wide receiver. I have Tony, Ridley, Cooks, and Debo. My other RBs are CMC and Jacobs. 12-man PPR. That's tough, man. Eckler wasn't great, but that game as a whole wasn't that great. I mean, for the Chargers, at least, the Baltimore Ravens did play pretty damn good. We were expecting a lot more out of that game. We did not see it. As for the trade, I think I would stick with Swift and Thielen here.
Yeah, I mean, it's giving him too much for a player like Eckler, and it's good that he has his bye week, all that kind of stuff. But Swift, like he said, he had this year 76% of the snap load. He had his high. He had like season highs this year in his last game. So it looks like that Campbell's waking up. Like, this guy is my guy, and I think that going forward, Swift will just be the RB1. He's a guy you plug in. Who cares the matchup? Garbage time, real time. He's going to get you those points. Thielen woke up. He was a guy that was sleeping for a little bit. Finally woke up. Finally showed us what he's capable of doing outside of Justin Jefferson. I mean, Tony's got the injury for the ankle. He's out this week, it seems. Ridley is back. Cooks, Debo, they're good. CMC, I just think that you just keep Swift with CMC and Jacobs. And if you keep this team, I believe you could actually go all the way and win this chip, because that's a nice team that you got going on for a 12-man PPR.
Yep. Yes, sir. Thanks for the question, Ryan. Newister 7. Would you start Ricky Seals-Jones over Tyler Higby? I'm okay with starting Ricky Seals-Jones over Tyler Higby. Tyler Higby doesn't see a great amount of targets where Ricky Seals-Jones does. The volume is there for Ricky Seals-Jones for the argument over Tyler Higby. Higby is a red zone threat. He does have great opportunity to catch a touchdown, but that's all he's really going to produce. That's all he has been producing. I think the last game he had 2 catches on 2 receptions, 20-something yards and the touchdown, where Ricky Seals-Jones is a constant target in that Washington football team. So, yeah, I would start Ricky Seals-Jones over Tyler Higby.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he's a guy who's literally hit or miss. I mean, they had 4 touchdowns, and Matt Stafford didn't look at his way, more than 5 times?
Yep.
4 touchdowns, only 5 receptions, 36 yards. Ricky Seals-Jones, you keep saying it. You were right. He's just this guy. He's the guy they want. And in an offense that bad, he's all they have left. And in an offense that Higby's in, he's not even looked at unless they need some last, 4th option in there. So Ricky Seals-Jones for the time being, all the way until Logan Thomas comes back 100%.
Yep. I think Ricky definitely has a safer floor. Rendon Dye, somebody just dropped Logan Thomas. Should I drop K. Tony for him? I would not drop Kadarius Toney for Logan Thomas. Not right now, at least. If you have someone else that you can drop that doesn't have the potential for output like Kadarius Toney has, then yeah, I'm okay with dropping him for Logan Thomas. But like Stefan said earlier when we talked about Ricky Seals-Jones, he might carve out a role enough in the absence of Logan Thomas that he's going to demand a bit more of a snap share, therefore limiting Logan Thomas's time on the field. So no, I would not drop Kadarius Toney for Logan Thomas. Thanks, Rendon. Hoops himself, Ertz and DJ Moore for Allen Robinson and Mark Andrews.
That's a tough one.
That's an interesting trade because now Zach Ertz is on the Arizona Cardinals. DJ Moore had 2 dud weeks. Allen Robinson has had 6 dud weeks. And Mark Andrews is a steady producer at the tight end position. I like Mark Andrews definitely over Zach Ertz, although I would like to see what Zach Ertz does in that Arizona Cardinals offense. And we all know DJ Moore can play. I think it's just been more the play of Sam Darnold lately than it is the play of DJ Moore. And Allen Robinson, man, everyone's saying he's QB proof, this and that. I think the game plan for the Bears has just been too conservative for them to produce any kind of quality wide receiver options in fantasy football. So right now, give me the Ertz and DJ Moore side.
Yeah,
Ertz and DJ Moore side.
Yeah. I think Ertz would be a great fit for Kyler Murray. Max Williams was decent, and Max Williams is a poor man's, Ertz. Ertz has still got a lot in the tank. Ertz just had a balling game. I mean, the Eagles literally showed us what Ertz can do last week. They're like, okay, watch Ertz ball out, and then now he's traded. So just take Ertz, see how he goes. There's no one else on that offense that's going to take snaps from Ertz. There's just receivers like AJ Green, Kirk, Rondell Moore, and Hopkins, and then he's the 5th. But then again, he's going to have some games where he's the security blanket because tight ends are quarterback's best friends. They're the guys up the middle, the guys who take all the grunt work, the guys who to make the secure catches. Mark Andrews is good. Don't get me wrong, but Ertz to Mark Andrews and DJ Moore to Allen Robinson, I'm sticking with you on that one. Ertz and DJ Moore all season for that.
Yep. Thanks, Hoops. Matt, what's up, guys? What's up, Matt? Tannehill or Burrow this week? Give me Joey Burrow. I've not liked what I've seen out of Ryan Tannehill. His week did get saved, or Tua. Oh, I like Tua's matchup, man. I like Tua's matchup against the Falcons. He did have a good week this past week, but I think I'm still going to go Joe Burrow there, man.
Yeah, Joe Burrow's got the offensive arsenal. I mean, he's got Mixon, Higgins, Auden Tate, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, Uzoma. He's got Chris Evans, by the way, looked like a receiver on that Detroit Lions game when he cooked the DB or the linebacker.
You were 1 week too late on that call, buddy. 1 week too late on that Chris Evans call.
Hey, pick up the trend, people that are listening, and just be like, okay, I want him now because in the next week after that, it's gonna ball out.
Exactly. But so yeah, Burrow, Tua, and then Tannehill. Hoops himself, Sterling Shepard is a free agent. Should I pick him up? Yes, you should pick up Sterling Shepard. Definitely pick up Sterling Shepard. JM, who are your top 5 wide receivers going forward that aren't Hill, Adams, in full PPR? You got a top 5?
Actually, I'm just topping it off right now. Okay, so I, outside taking out Adams and taking out Hill, Stefan Diggs, Cooper. No particular order. This is just the 5.
Yep.
Stefan Diggs, Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase.
Cooper Kupp, yep.
I think Calvin Ridley has a second half, balling season, and I'm gonna stick with DJ Moore. This man, and that he's the guy. I think those are my top 5. If you want to put Adams, 1. I'm not a big, Hill's not like a top 2 guy right now. I do have some suspect on his hands. I think he's a 3rd best receiver. Kupp right now is just proven to be the number 1 guy. Kupp is.
I love that Chase pick, man. I love that Jamar Chase pick.
I just see it.
He's been electric. I've been watching his routes and everything that he's been doing on that team.
That block for Mixon, like he is a team guy. He's a team
that
guy.
Block for Mixon, man. I've been liking everything I've been seeing out of him. There was a lot of talk preseason about his confidence and the year he took off, and he's not catching balls. But man, he put all that to bed, and he put all that to bed in week 1, and he's been just putting it to bed every week from here on out, or his past 5 weeks, 6 weeks at least. So I love that Jamar Chase pick. I love that pick right there.
I think I might just trade actually Ridley out for Justin Jefferson. I forgot. That's who I was looking for. Justin Jefferson is it's another guy like Jamar Chase. I think they're almost the same kind of prototype of receiver. You can't go wrong with these guys, man. And it's crazy because these are guys you all drafted late round. Jamar Chase wasn't a guy in the top 3 rounds. Cooper Kupp wasn't a guy in the top 3 rounds. Diggs was. Moore and Jefferson were as well, but it's crazy because these guys are making names for themselves.
Oh yeah.
What's your top 5?
I'm you know what? I don't hate it. I like Kupp. I like Chase, Stephon Diggs, Calvin Ridley, and CeeDee Lamb for me, man.
Oh, I like that.
I love what CeeDee Lamb. And then you got guys like Nuke. Deandre Hopkins is gonna be there. He's the move he put on the defenders last week was just dirty for the touchdown. Any of those guys can be interchangeable, right? Week in, week out. You could have CeeDee Lamb at 5 next week. He's 6, and Nuke is up there. But those are pretty much a solid 5. I'm not a big Mike Williams guy. I know he's had a great start to the season. For me, he's just a little too reckless on the field. Yeah, I don't think he's going to finish the season. But thank you for the question. Matt, should I drop Sterling Shepard for either Devonta Parker, Hunter Renfro, or Christian Kirk? I would say no. I already see you shaking your head. I would say no to Devonta Parker, no to Hunter Renfro, and I would say no to Christian Kirk. Sterling Shepard has been the wide receiver 1 for the Giants. He's been a steady producer. Keep Sterling Shepard.
He had 10 catches last game, didn't he?
Yeah.
Against a good Rams defense. So
he's the guy.
If he gets hurt and then someone else comes back from injury, then they're the guy. It's like that New York offensive receiving group is kind of flip-flopping this year. So it's hard, but he is the guy. He is the one.
Pick up Donovan Peoples-Jones. He was a guy that we were wrestling with putting on the list, or Brendan Ayuk. Oh, Brendan Ayuk's a tough one, man. We talked about him at length last week, and we've talked about him. We talked about him with Eric Young. I was gonna bring him up with Luke in the rapid fire there, but I was just tired of beating this horse. I'm not trusting Brandon Ayuk. I'm not picking him up. If you're in a deep league and you have a bench spot to stash him, or you have a bench room to stash Brandon Ayuk. We know the talent's there. We know what he can do. We've seen him do it, but I don't know if he's just in the coach's doghouse or he just got lazy or whatever it was. I don't know what it is with Brandon Ayuk, but I don't trust him. As for Donovan Peoples-Jones, he's the same pretty much. if you have the bench spot, pick him up. We just seen him go off, but he's going to be one of those guys that it's going to be boom and bust weeks, week in and week out. I don't see him putting up that steady production. And Baker's hurt. Baker's shoulder's hurt. I don't know how long he's going to play. I don't know if he's going to finish the whole season. If he keeps getting hit like he keeps getting hit, I don't know how long he's going to last. The guy's an absolute warrior. When he got hit, his arm looked like it was the back of his hand looking like it was touching the back of his head. And he came in like I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh man, that looked gruesome. He's done. And he just on the sideline throwing balls. So I would pick up Peoples-Jones and stash him. Same with Ayuk. If you have this space, just pick him up and stash him, man. Because you don't want to lose to those guys, right?
I'm still holding on for dear life with Ayuk. Something in my deepest gut is saying just let him sit there. Let him sit there and something good will happen. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And if we're here week 17 and he's ended up being the receiver in the top 10, I'm going to tell everybody, you should have listened. But up until then, I have no ground to stand on. So if you have him, have him. If you drop him, drop him. We'll see.
All right. JM, Kupp or Diggs?
Kupp. He is by far, and this is no disrespect to Stefan Diggs. There is just no way that Cooper Kupp is going to come down from earth, it seems like. Like, this man is on cloud 10. I think he's got 10 touchdowns now. Is that actually, I don't know if it's legit. This guy is everywhere. I've never seen a receiver be this consistent.
He caught another 2. He caught another 2 this past weekend.
7 touchdowns.
He is Matt Stafford's favorite target. They eat breakfast together. They're attached at the hip. He's always looking for him on the field. He's his first read. The one game that Woods was the main focus was because Woods went to the coaching staff and pretty much said, I don't like my usage. Give me the ball. So they gave him the ball the one game. Then the next game, they went right back to Cooper Kupp. So for Diggs like you said, no disrespect to Diggs. Diggs is an absolute baller. But if we're picking one over the other, we're going Cooper Kupp here.
He's to me is the overall number one over Adams, over Hill. And numbers speak volume. I don't care how small the guy is. He is making it work. He is what Wes Welker was back in the day. He was that slot guy. He's a guy who's just speedy. So if you can trade for him, you're going to have to trade a lot. If you have him, you had a great value. Hold because you got a steal.
Yeah. Should I drop Gaskin for McKissick? I'm okay with that. Gaskin had the one good week and then absolutely nothing. He is one of my drops of the week. Drop Myles Gaskin. I'm okay. Although, like, RBs are hard to come by. Starting RBs are hard to come by in fantasy football. But so are trustworthy running backs. And I just can't trust Myles Gaskin moving forward. He might have another game or two where he puts up 18 to 22 points. But one of my favorite sayings is just let it be someone else's headache, man. I don't want to deal with that. Give me JD McKissick where I know he's going to see a certain amount of touches. He's going to see a certain amount of receptions. So yeah, give me JD McKissick there. Should I drop Devonta Parker for Bateman?
You called it even last week. I know we couldn't do it, but you had one of your bigger guys was Jalen Waddle. He proved to be the guy, you know. I mean, there's no one else there. Parker struggles with a hamstring injury. He never wants to stay healthy. And I think Bateman is I hate to say it, but I think they found the receiver. I think Lamar Jackson's going to do this with Hollywood Brown, Rashard Bateman, Mark Andrews. They're going to start being more of a pass-happy offense because they already started doing that more. They have their 3, beyond their prime running backs that are scoring three was it Murray, it was Freeman and Bell. It's not going to happen every week.
No.
But I think Bateman would be a good big stud, for Lamar Jackson just to throw deep.
What do you have, 4 targets?
I think he had 4 targets. Yep.
4 targets.
Tied for I think 3rd on the team, behind Hollywood and behind Mark Andrews. But this guy there's a reason he stayed off there for so long, and now he's back. He's healthy. They eased him in. He's going to be a guy like Odell Beckham back in 2012 where he was injured, and if you held on to him, the second half of the season could pay you dividends.
Yep. pick up the Golden Gopher. He did have one drop that turned into an interception, but he's definitely going to be a guy that I'm going to want on my rosters for the second half of the season, that's for sure. Is Henderson a top 10 running back going forward in PPR? I would say he's definitely going to be on the cusp of breaking that top 10. He definitely has the opportunity to be a top 10 running back week in and week out. He's going to be a solid play for you, especially in PPR formats. If he stays healthy, but that's the story of any football player. If he stays healthy, he's going to produce. We've seen it when he's had the opportunity that he does produce. So, yeah, I mean, I don't see a situation where he shouldn't be a top 10 running back going forward.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the numbers, he's got the volumes, he can catch. I mean, he's not like the best catcher, but he can catch. And he's had nothing less in PPR formats, 17 points, except for the one game he was out against Tampa. Outside of that, he's been 17 points per game. He's already established himself as an RB2. I think he'll finish easily within the top 15. I'll have him as, if he could stay healthy, be consistent like this, I have him as a top 12 back. And if anything, top 10, getting closer and closer, all of his injuries. Henderson, like I said, he was one of those guys early on in the year before we drafted. They was like, okay, Cam Akers is out. What are we gonna do? He stepped into the role. He's kind of phasing out Sony Michel, and he's taking that backfield by the rein. Mm-hmm. So you could trade for him, trade before he gets too much better, because if he keeps going higher, his value will shoot up, and you can't get him for the price that you can get him for now. Yeah, it's not low, but it's not the highest it's gonna be.
I agree with that. Are there Young D, Jalen Waddle, or Jacoby Myers? I know you've been a proponent for Jacoby Myers for the past few weeks, and Jalen Waddle with Tua has flashed. He's shown some good production. So I'm going Jalen Waddle here, man, over Jacoby Myers.
It's the Bama connection, and I don't fault you. I just don't. You know what? I gotta put my sticks in the ground. I got to hold firm. Jacoby Myers is going to get a touchdown this season. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. There's no way. Jalen Waddle just showed that he could be what they wanted him to be, this quick guy, the utilized guy. Him and Gesicki could be a good combo. Yep. Tua looked very good. You know, he looked a little shaky at first because it was his first start in many weeks. But, I mean, I liked what I saw. He had 300 yards. So him and Waddle could be a good, PPR format stack if you want. Myers, just please get me a touchdown one week. Just let me just like get off this horse. I want him to score because he's good. And if he can get that connection, this guy is a top 15 receiver. Waddle is creeping up to that every week. And the more rapport he builds with Tua, you're going to be looking at possibly a flex every week consistently. If he creeps into the receiver too, you just got a freaking gold mine of a hit with him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree. Ridley or Hopkins going forward in full PPR? I think I'm going Deandre Hopkins there, man. If I'm putting one above the other, I'm putting Hopkins just above Calvin Ridley, just based on the offense that they're running over there in Arizona. Give me all of it. Give me DeAndre Hopkins over Ridley.
100% agree with you. It's like Atlanta is like a poor man's version of the Cardinals in a way. They have a good tight end, Ertz and Pitts. They have their good number ones. Their number twos are right. I mean, the number threes are decent, but I don't know. It just looks like Matt Ryan, he had all season to make Ridley a top 2, top 3 receiver, to make Pitts a top 5 tight end. Just hasn't happened. I don't know what's going on really. And like you said, Hopkins is Hopkins. He's played with 30 different quarterbacks. He's going to catch touchdowns. He's going to have 1,000 yards. He's going to have everything. So I'm going to go Hopkins. If you could trade for him, if you guys can start him, he's a guy. He's unstartable. You don't want to take him out for any other reason other than a bye week.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that, man. I agree with that. And even on the bye week, you might score more points than some of these other guys. You got any drops? Any guys that you're cutting bait with? T.Y. Hilton, a good pickup? Yes, T.Y. Hilton is a good pickup.
He's a good pickup. Careful. It might be, I think it was like a quad injury or something like that.
So yeah, he did have something, yeah.
Monitor that. But I'm dropping
Campbell's out.
You're
dropping McKinnon? Yeah, I think it's about 1 week. You saw what you needed to see.
Where was he? Darrell Williams just took the reign and took the entire backfield, and he had more points than Clyde has ever scored. He had more of 21 carries, 62 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. Darrell Williams is like the new guy. I mean, is Clyde going to come back and revert to like a bench mode?
Yeah, who knows, man. That's Mahomes' guy, though.
Is it?
Wait, could you imagine if Mahomes said, if they called Mahomes and said, which guy do you want? And Mahomes said, Jonathan Taylor over Clyde Edwards-Helaire, how lethal that would be. That would be unreal. But I guess that's why you don't let the quarterback draft the players, right?
But see, in a perfect world, we can't have things like that.
Yeah, I know.
It would just be so unfair. Like if the Lions took OBJ, if the Patriots took DK Metcalf,
when you go deep like that,
it's not healthy for the soul.
You want to play. Are you concerned with Hopkins' lack of targets this season? And Murray seems to be spreading the ball around. I'm a little concerned about it. He's not getting the target share that we are used to seeing with DeAndre Hopkins, but the guy's an absolute stud. When the game is on the line, he's always the first look. He's always the first read. He's gonna be the guy that Murray is gonna look to. The Ertz signing does scare me a little bit, but not to the point where I'm gonna panic sell DeAndre Hopkins. We're only 6 weeks in. We're almost at the halfway point for the regular season for fantasy football. So let's see what he gets in the next 3 games up into your league's trade deadline. If you still are concerned about the lack of involvement of Nuke Hopkins, then maybe you dish him off for something else. But I'm not overly concerned. No,
I mean, it's just, again, these guys don't care about our fantasy teams. We can yell, we can scream, exactly. We can everything we want. At the end of the day, they're going to do what they do to win. There's a reason they're 6-0. Hopkins was involved this week. He had a good week. Next week, he might have, say, no touchdown, but the yards. It's really the hot hand. That's why we're saying pick up like a Kirk, pick up Moore, pick up AJ Green, because any of these guys can do what Hopkins can do this week. AJ Green did it this week. Christian Kirk did it week 1. So if you have to, trade him. Don't trade him too low. If you want to buy him low. Some guy that has no running backs, say, or you have a few extra running backs, or you could do a cheap 2-for-1. Take him, and like you said, he's a guy who's gonna get his. He's gonna eat at the end of the day. He's gonna have his dinner. He's gonna eat. So if you have him in your receiver and you got him for buy low, you're gonna be happy going forward into the playoffs to have Nuke sitting at your wide receiver too, because some guy was too down on him.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I agree with that. Fran, is Jamison Crowder worth to be rostered in a 10-man league? 10-man league, I'm going to say no. I don't trust much of the receiving options in New York for the Jets. Again, he could be a guy that's going to have a boom week and then a bust week. If you got a giant bench, sure, stash him. It's not going to hurt you to stash him, but I'm going to say no.
Yeah, the only guy I want out of that offense is Corey Davis, and even then, it's like a hit or miss on that one. So if you have, if you're hurting on receivers for some reason, 10-man league, no. 12-man league, yes. That's a different thing. But 10-man league, you probably find someone else better, or you have someone better, and you can find a different player that's worthy of your bench spot instead.
Yep. Ryan Hayes, Jacobs or Chuba? I mean, I'm a Jacobs hater. I'll be the first to admit it. I'm a Jacobs hater, but the guy just keeps getting touchdowns, man. And it just makes my skin crawl.
It's like a zombie movie. He's dead, but he never dies. He's always coming. It's like Michael Myers.
Always there.
When he's dead, he comes back. He's making another movie. So
exactly, man. Or Chuba. I mean, give me Jacobs there. Chuba's a short-term option. If you have Chuba, keep him on your bench, especially if CMC does, or when CMC comes back. Still hold on to Chuba. Don't get rid of him. We've seen what happened last year with CMC. Hamstrings for running backs is never a good injury. So there is opportunity that he does miss more time. But give me Jacobs over Chuba.
I think so too, but by a fraction. It depends if the injury. If the injury, then Chuba's a league winner. I'm on board with the Jacobs hate train sometimes. So I can't. When you said it, I was like, okay, I'm not the only one that feels this way.
I don't like him, man, but he just keeps getting touchdowns. Fournette, McLaurin, and Brown. I'm not sure which Brown, so we'll take a guess. I'm gonna guess Marquise.
AJ Brown.
AJ for D Hop and Mike Williams. I'm guessing. Give me the Fournette, McLaurin, and Brown side. Either one of the Browns. AJ, Marquise, or Antonio.
Yeah, I'm taking the Fournette, McLaurin, Brown. That's just that depth. I'm a big guy on depth, and if you can even stash an 8, like if you stash an RB2, there's something wrong with Antonio Brown. Keep your side. Yeah, don't know.
Yeah.
Nope, I am keeping your Antonio Brown.
Should I drop Lat Murray? Yeah, I'm okay with dropping Lat Murray.
I'm not yet. I don't know.
Not yet?
Not yet. It's only because of scarcity on running backs. He just seems like the guy's getting the workload. The other guys are going to touch the ball. Maybe give him another week. I mean, Le'Veon Bell just got activated from the practice squad, so maybe they saw something they like out of the ugly number 17. But I don't know. I'm not ready yet. That's a guy. It's very awkward. It's just he's.
Give it a week or two.
Yeah, he's the best of the backs. I believe he's still got miles left that the others don't. I was just holding on for another week, see how he goes.
Yep. Okay. Good call there. I like it. Before we wrap up, some of my drops. Robert Tonyan, he's an absolute drop. He should be dropped already. 32 yards on 6 receptions over the last 4 games. Drop him. And Josh Gordon, his career is pretty much up in smoke. So drop Josh Gordon. He's been unproductive. Again, let him be someone else's headache. Stefan, Bearish Bombs. Let them know where they can find you, buddy.
You can find me at Bearish Bombs on Twitter. You can find me at the Bearish on uSTADIUM. We have up until Sunday, Thursday night. You have any questions, please reach us out on the app. We're more than happy to answer any questions. We're more than happy to help you win a starting lineup. We won the Gordon.
I'm learning from the best here, man.
I'm trying to teach my man over here how to do it. Come on, Ryan. Don't worry. I think by next show I have the puns running around. So
I like it. That's it for us. Like the stream, subscribe to the channel, go to uSTADIUM, download the app, talk to us. We'll talk to you. Any fantasy questions, any football questions. You can win points for the takes option that's coming out soon. We've been testing that. We've been having a lot of fun with that.
I'm losing a lot of my points.
Yeah, buying into each other's takes. Surprisingly, my Tom Brady 55 for 55 take has done pretty good, man. I think he's on pace for 5,800 yards.
Yeah, I made sure to tag along on that one. I saw that take, and I'm like, that's a hot take. I'm betting half my money on that.
That's a money take for Tommy B. That's it for us. See you on Sundays, and good luck.